something that I didn't get into in the first episode was my deep appreciation for the theme song. I love all the Jem music. Like I said, I have been listening to this music since I was a kid. I listened to it through college. I listened to it, I think I was watching Jem in middle school. I want to say middle school because it was on just before I caught the bus. So I would watch it and then I would run outside to the bus stop and then I would talk about the episode with a friend of mine who got on the bus at the next bus stop. And I'm pretty sure that was middle school. So I was listening to this music, all through middle school, all through high school. I was watching the episodes. I think definitely in college, because I know I introduced you to it back then, but I think it was sometime around college. Whenever eBay became a thing, I'm not sure if that was like the early 2000s. I started looking for the original Jem cassette tapes that used to come with the dolls. And I found a bunch of them on eBay, and I was able to get actual cassettes of the music instead of having to pull the music from old video recordings, VHS recordings that I made. So sort of around the time that eBay first became a thing and you could find collectibles and stuff that way. So I have been listening to this music my whole life, and I still love it. I still think that it's powerful and so well produced. I mean, they did not have to work that hard. They did not have to churn out 3 to 4 songs an episode, that were these fully realized songs and music videos. And that's not something that I really appreciated until I think I was in college, when I really thought about and understood what that took. I worked in the anime business. This is long before anime became mainstream. This is when it was still very much a small industry. But I worked in the anime industry. I was friends with and worked with a lot of voice actors, and I really didn't understand what went into production, in a sense, until I worked in the anime industry and worked with people who were doing voice work and dubbing and all that sort of stuff. And the complexity of working in the studio and churning out quality material like weekly. I mean, I didn't really get how much work went into the production of all that music. And it is really good music. Not just for what it is. It's good music. So I wanted to spend a little time talking about the music from like the very first punch. The opening sequence of Jem is not only really unique because the animation style is very different from the rest of the series, but that opening song is ridiculous, okay? It is ridiculous. It has so much going for it. I really wish I could take that apart. I wish I had the audio skills to pull out individual pieces of it. The bass line is ridiculous. The brass is insane. It has no business going as hard as it goes. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Jem is excitement. Ooh, Jem is adventure. Ooh, glamour and glitter, fashion and fame. Jem is truly outrageous. Truly, truly, truly outrageous. Whoa, Jem, the music's contagious. Outrageous. Jem is my name. No one else is the same. Jem is my name. But we're the misfits. Our songs are bitter. We are the misfits. The misfits. And we're gonna get her. Jem, the music's contagious. Outrageous. Jem is my name. No one else is the same. Jem is my name. Jem.
One of the things that I love about that song, aside from how hard it goes, is the Molly Ringwald. Many of you will not necessarily know what I'm referring to. So there's a point in the opening sequence where Jem does the Molly Ringwald as she transitions into Jerica. The Molly Ringwald, some people call it the Molly Ringwald, other people call it the Belinda Carlisle. Technically, Belinda Carlisle came before the Molly Ringwald. It doesn't matter. I call it the Molly Ringwald because I associate it with her dancing in the Breakfast Club. And there's a portion of that motion. It almost looks a little bit rotoscoped, and I'm not sure if the opening of Jem had some rotoscoping in it. It feels a little rotoscopy. It feels like they try to capture very specifically these elements of her dancing. And the Molly Ringwald is in there for like a split second as she's transitioning. And when I saw that as a kid, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world because it brought her out of just being like a cartoon and made her trendy, right? She's doing the classic Belinda Carlisle, Molly Ringwald dance. And all of a sudden it seemed like she was like really real in the 80s, like doing an actual 80s dance. It'd be like someone like a cartoon doing the Cabbage Patch or the Running Man or whatever, right? She was doing this very 80s well-known dance move in the opening sequence of that song. And I just think it is wonderful. I love that exists. I loved it then. I love it now. And it just makes me happy as all fuck.
Jem will be right back after these messages.
All right, episode 2 is bonkers. Episode 2 is ridiculous. Look, I don't even know what to say. My memory is not great. I have a lot of chronic pain, and people with chronic pain, you all know, it messes with your memory because your body's so busy dealing with pain all the time. I forgot the science of it all, but like it interferes with how your brain processes cognition and all that sort of stuff. So my memory is always really, really terrible. I think I watched episode 2 Friday, maybe Thursday, and it's Monday, and it's good luck to me. So the second episode was crazy, though. It really, really was crazy. I didn't expect it to be that crazy. I think I've seen episode 1 a million times, and I watch my favorite episodes over and over, but I can't say that I've ever watched the whole series from beginning to end for a long time. I did not remember how crazy episode 2 is. Episode 2 is called Disaster. So it starts off, remember, I think we said that they all died in the first episode. At the end, they didn't. They lived, and apparently they got out of the house, which I didn't expect. And it starts out with them outside watching the house burn to the ground. They don't have a sprinkler system installed in that foster home. They don't have any fire blankets. They don't have those things that you just put it over the stove and it goes out, whatever that thing is called, the emergency fire thing. They don't have any fire extinguishers. They don't have anything to protect the entire wooden house that they live in. That thing went up like gangbusters. So they're outside. The firemen are there spraying their little hoses, and they're all naked, and they don't have any pants. And I understand that, you know, there's like night shirts or whatever, but none of the girls are wearing like pajama pants or anything. They're all just wearing night shirts, and none of them have pants. It's just pantless girls and women standing outside on the lawn while their house goes up in flames. And the firemen are there, and I don't know what they're trying to do with those little hoses. They are not putting that thing out. That's gone, okay? The girl from the first episode, who's obviously a complete thug, and they must have gotten her from, you know, some horrible place because she is a thief. She doesn't care about anyone, and she steals money from, you know, the foster jar. And she runs back into the flaming house to get the jar of money, which is like $55. I don't remember how much they said was in there. I think they needed an additional $35 for their refrigerator. So I think there's like $55 in there. She ran into a burning building to get $55. Look, she must have come from a really difficult place, because that $55 is like, she's like, forget it. I'm going to go up in flames for that $55. So Jerrica is like, oh my God, why did you do that? That's like the dumbest thing in the world. you are more than $55. It's possible, but she probably gets at least $55 per kid as a foster person. So maybe it sort of evens out. Is that bad? So she saves the jar of money, and they have no house. And Jerica is like, "Oh my God, there goes everything we own." And she gets she gets this idea. She's like, "Actually, we're not homeless." And Kimber's like, "Yeah, whatever." She's like, "No, we actually have a home that's just waiting for us." And like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, Jerica is not talking about that mansion that is part of the contest. She's not really sitting there going, "You know what? We don't have a house anymore. Let's move into somebody else's home because it's empty and we're going to win it anyway." I can accept that she has a certain amount of initiative, and I love her initiative. The same initiative where she was like, "Well, if my dad used to get money for Starlight House from Starlight Music, I'll just go down there and get it myself." And so she's like, "We have a home. Don't be discouraged. Our home is just waiting for us." So it's first thing in the morning. All these girls are pantless and suffering from smoke inhalation. And she's like, "How do you feel about giving a concert?" Okay, look. I don't think anybody should be giving a concert when their house is just burned down and they're possibly suffering from some sort of trauma and they could be having post-traumatic stress. I mean, these girls just witnessed their home burning down. Every single thing that they owned, all of their dolls, all of their clothes, and she's just like, "Let's put on a concert." I feel like Jerica's not very good at the whole fostering thing, but that's just my opinion. So all the girls are like, "Yes, let's do this." So she's like, "We're going to go, get ready for this concert." And I'm like, "Are you going to give a concert on your front lawn with the burned house behind you in the background? Some sort of like twisted apocalyptic Coachella or something?" I wasn't sure what she was going to do. So she gets in the van. Rio puts all the kids in his van. Everybody has vans. And they get in their Starlight van, her and the staff, and the Misfits are like watching this. Like they watched the house burn down, and they watched Jerica and everybody drive off, and they're like, "Ooh, let's follow them," because they literally don't have anything better to do. I don't understand how the Misfits are just in everybody's business. Shouldn't they be practicing or like making songs or something? But they are just like watching everything that's going on. So they decide to follow Jerica to figure out what's going on because they're not busy. So they're chasing her, or they're following her, and she uses synergy to basically, if I remember correctly, they're driving down the street and they can't shake the Misfits. So they drive into an alley. And Jerica's like, "Showtime." And basically, synergy turns them into Solid Snake. Am I wrong? I mean, basically, she turns them into a box like in an alley. And the Misfits are like, "Where did they go?" And it's like, "Are you dumb?" They're right there. It's Solid Snake.
Just a box.
There's just a giant box in the middle of the alley. Anyway, so they're like, "Oh, we must have lost them, so we'll follow Rio instead." Because again, we are not busy. We do not have lives of our own at all. They follow him to, I guess they follow him to where they're going. But then Jem and her staff go to the Starlight Drive-In. And is it me? Or does the Starlight Drive-In, the sign for the Starlight Drive-In has a half naked woman straddling an airplane? what does that have to do? Like, that's the logo for the Starlight Drive-In, a woman in a bikini straddling an airplane. Anyway, so they go in, they drive through the wall, the drive-in theater wall, and I also realized something odd. And I noticed this when I was editing the first video and I was cutting out the clips about Synergy. The area that they drive into is not like a room. I mean, they drive into something that looks like kind of like a spaceship. Is it just me? Or like the area where Synergy is, the walls, the door, everything is like silver and like basically they drive into Zaha Hadid architecture. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like they drive into something that's completely not typical, architecture. It's very cylindrical, it's metalish, chromy, and even like the doors that open in the ground and the walls have this weird sort of grating on them. Is it a spaceship? Like, is it is there like, are they driving into, is that like behind the theater? It doesn't look like they're in the same place, is what I'm saying. And I'm not sure if that's just me thinking that or whether that's just the interior or whatever, but it does not look like regular This World stuff.
Jem will be right back after these messages.
So they go there and they start throwing on her father's fashion line, which is fabulous, I might add. And they pack up and they drive, they leave no, it is an actual car because he left her the car. I was thinking that Synergy could have created a hologram of the car on top of the Starlight van, but instead they just take the Rockin' Roadster Rolls Royce and they drive out, and we have our first song of the episode, which is Like a Dream. This is one of those songs that I think also a lot of people associate with Jem, that particular song. I like this song. It is not one of my favorite Jem songs. It's not like only the beginning, but I love the lyrics.
Like a dream, I'll appear to you. Like a dream, that is coming true. Like a dream, I will lead you to a place you've never seen before. Like a dream, where you're far from care. Like a dream, music everywhere. Like a dream, let me take you there and show you new worlds to explore. Follow the sound of my voice, I'll give you reason to rejoice. Rejoice. Like a dream, I'll appear to you. Like a dream, that is coming true. Like a dream, I will lead you to a place you've never seen before. Like a dream, where you're far from care. Like a dream, music everywhere. Like a dream, let me take you there and show you new worlds to explore. Follow the sound of my voice, I'll give you reason to rejoice. Rejoice. Like a dream, baby, come with me. Like a dream, life will be like a dream. Like a dream.
One of the things I like about that music video for Like a Dream is that her bathing suit is basically like the Charlie Brown shirt. And I think that's kind of cool. One of the reasons I like a Dream is because it showcases Britta's range. Like, yeah, we all know that she can wail and she can hit those super high notes. But it has a low register, and you really get to hear how good her actual voice is in that song. I think it's such a great example of her singing style. So they're basically, after you get through the video for Like a Dream, you realize that they're performing this song on his front lawn. I don't know how early in the morning it is after their house burned down. This guy, this movie producer, who lives in a shack. That's the other thing. Did he move out of his own mansion and now he lives in basically a one floor, one story house in the middle of a vacant lot? Because I'm very confused about what's going on with this movie producer guy. Did he just decide he was going to downsize? Because I don't know why he lives in a shack. But it's got to be 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And this guy wakes up. He's literally in his bed. And he's like, the hell is that? No. There is a woman and a bunch of holograms on your front lawn. They're performing on this guy's front lawn at 6 o'clock in the morning with all of their half-naked foster children. And this is the thing I love most about it. They're fully dressed, but they didn't get any clothes for the foster kids. The foster kids are naked. And Jem and the Holograms have gone to the Starlight Drive-In, changed into her father's fashion line, which apparently he doesn't make clothing for children. And they showed up and put on a concert at 6 o'clock in the morning on the front lawn of this guy. Make it make sense. This guy wakes up and is like, what the fuck? And he opens up the door and he goes out and the Misfits are there. And they're like, what are you doing or whatever? And Jem is like, look, all of these girls without pants are my foster kids. That should be a huge red flag right there. And our house burnt down. And I think even the guy is like, you want to move into the mansion? Like he knows exactly where she's going with this. And the Misfits are like, hell fuck no. She is not moving into the mansion. And my first thought is, the mansion doesn't belong to either one of y'all. Y'all need to calm down. First of all, Jerica can't just show up on your front lawn, give a concert as Jem, and be like, these are my foster children. Look how pathetic they are. That's why she didn't put them in clothes. They're all barefoot, without pants, standing on this guy's front lawn, watching a concert, probably hungry, probably cold, clearly traumatized. And she's like, by the way, can we live in your mansion? I love that he is just not having, you want to move into the mansion. And I love that. I love this guy already because he's like, please don't go on with your bullshit. Just say you want to move into the mansion with all of your half-naked children. The Misfits are pissed and they're like, they are not moving in. And he's like, excuse me? This property belongs to me. It belongs to me. Not y'all, but me. Not y'all, but me'all. Is that what I want to say? So he goes to he doesn't even hesitate. He's like, I'll go get the keys. And the Misfits are like, no, you will not be getting these keys. This is not happening. And Pizzazz, or one of them, pushes the guy into his own pool. Yo. The Misfits are psychotic. I will give to you that these are some seriously emotionally dysregulated women, but they're also seriously borderline. They're not well. None of them are okay. They go beyond just being kind of, like a punky band. Like, I don't know what kind of image they're supposed to be giving in the show as far as, okay, Jem and the Holograms are nice girls and the Misfits are bad girls from the bad part of town or something. And the bad part of town girls became a band called the Misfits. But the bad part of town girls are also absolutely psychotic. They do things that go way past just pranks, right? They walk into this dude's lawn, push him into his own pool. Then Roxy, I think, jumps into a bulldozer. You guys. And she runs the bulldozer across this guy's lawn and starts tearing up the lawn in a bulldozer. Then, a la Footloose, she jumps out of the bulldozer. Oh, is it a tractor? No, she's on a bulldozer. they're having a tractor fight in a tractor race, right? A chicken in Footloose, and she's on a bulldozer, but she still dives off, like at the end, right? Like Kevin Bacon with with his shoe. Dun 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 dun.
And now, back to Jem.
Jerica's trying to save the movie producer guy, but she has absolutely no upper arm strength because she doesn't eat. Apparently, neither do her foster children. She can't eat because she doesn't have money from Starlight Music. I don't understand how any of this works. But she tries to pull him out, and she flings herself in front of the oncoming bulldozer, and it's a shocking fade to commercial. Rio, I think, saves her from certain death at the hands of the runaway bulldozer. They get Howard Sands. That's his name. They pull Howard out of his pool, and he's wet with water. And does he kick the Misfits off of his property? Or at this point, he should have had them arrested. They tore up his property, and then he has the nerve to say, "You guys can move into the mansion, but if the Misfits win, you're going to have to move out." I understand that he's, given his word that these are the rules of the contest, but when someone comes onto your property and tries to kill you, why would you even let them into this contest? Like, he's doing a lot of, he's making a lot of exceptions, I feel. So he gets them the keys. They move into his mansion that's supposed to be the prize for the contest that he set up. She drives to the mansion in the Rockin' Roadster. So you're homeless. All of your foster kids are homeless. You're staying in a mansion gifted to you by a movie producer, and you drive up in a Rolls Royce. This is how you're getting from your burnt down house to your new house, in a Rolls Royce. And I'm thinking to myself, you could have sold that damn car. That is not, you don't show up to the homeless shelter in a Mercedes Benz. That's not how that works. I think probably that is one of the best examples I've ever seen of white privilege. This isn't a handout. I have a Rolls Royce. I'm just staying in this mansion temporarily until I get back on my feet.
Jem will be right back after these messages.
All the girls show up still with no pants, and they all move into the mansion, and they're like, "Oh, there's a room for each of us." And the woman who I thought was the house mother is actually the cook. And she's like, "Oh, I can cook in the kitchen." Or maybe she is the house mother and she cooks. They don't have a cook. They don't have anyone. They just have this old woman, and they don't know how to maintain their house. They don't know how to cook, apparently. Rio shows up, and he's like, he buzzes because it's got a gate, right? He buzzes the buzzer, and Jerica is like, "Hello," and Rio's like, "Open the gate. All these people are here from the press, I guess, or a magazine or something like that are doing, upcoming bands or some kind of feature." And he's brought hair and wardrobe, and literally outside the gate there are a bunch of reporters, and then there's people with those wardrobe racks that that you see in behind the scenes of movies, or like those racks that they use in the hotels to move people's clothes and stuff. They're just standing out there with them on the driveway trying to get in. And I don't know what to say about that. So he's like, "Let us in, and I hope Jem is available to do these interviews." And Jerica cackles.
She's here already.
She literally cackles. And says, She's already here. It is the weirdest, most drug-induced, wildly unhinged cackle I've ever heard in my life. She's already here. So she turns into Jem, and they're getting ready to do these interviews and stuff. And we get our second song of the episode, which is the first collab. And I really wish they had done more of these. I like Click Clash because it's a great... The Misfits have a very sort of discordant tone, right, to their music, and it beautifully comes in the middle of Jem singing. You know, that song is really positive, and you know, they're like click, you know, and it's all very light, and the Misfits come in and it's like crash, and I love that. I love it's like a cymbal crash in a crowded room, a quiet room, right? It's that sound of the Misfits. It's a great introduction to, if you didn't already know, how different these groups are, how different their sounds are. And I love that mix of the two groups together. And I don't know how many times they did this in the series. I feel like it was maybe only once or twice, but I think that it probably should have happened more often if it didn't happen often, but I can't remember off the top of my head if it did. But I love Click Clash because of that, the break-in of the Misfits, the way that they break in the opening too, right? The song changes tone, it changes register, and it's like, we're the Misfits, you know, and and then they bring it back to, you know, the Jem vibe, right? But the Misfit vibe is hard and loud and gritty, and I like that. I think Click Clash does a great job of showcasing that difference.
Click, and it comes in focus. Click, and the world takes notice. Click, and in a flash, you're the latest fashion, an overnight smash. That's what we're gonna do if you don't step aside. Look out, we're coming through. Better run somewhere and hide. You better hide. Click, and it's all so thrilling. Click, and you've got top billing. Click, and there you are. You're the new sensation, a media star. Clash, we're gonna pick a fight. Gonna kick us up a fuss. Clash, yes, you regret the day that you got in our way. Baby, you don't wanna clash with us. Click, it can happen just that quick. Clash, we're really on our way now. Click, any moment we will click. Clash, we'll reach the top any day now. Click, clash, click, it can happen just that quick. Clash, we're really on our way now. Click, any moment we will click. Clash, we'll reach the top any day now. Click, clash, click, clash, click, clash, click.
Jem will be right back after these messages.
After they do their Click Clash, you see that Raymond went back to Ginger, and what is his name? He has a name. He actually has a name. Was his name Spider?
This is Eric Raymond. Is that you, Zipper? That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Because in the first episode, he said he just wanted him to scare Jerica, and instead he burnt down their house. He blew up your car.
I'll buy a new one.
He burnt down your house, right? So he burns down their whole house. So this time he's like, I want you to do the same thing, except don't burn down their house. I don't know what he means by don't mess it up. Does he mean don't burn down their house? Or I'm confused because, and I think Spider
Zipper.
is confused because Spider
Zipper.
shows up at the mansion with a fucking bomb. He literally shows up with fucking plastic explosive. Spider.
Zipper.
Is your name Spider?
Zipper.
Is that the name your mother gave you? Is your name really something like Walter? Thank you, Corey. Walter. Walter. Come here, Walter. Come here. Let's have a conversation. You have a nice life. When Eric calls you, you answer the phone and you're in some sort of nice apartment. It's not like you're living in a solid snake box on the side of the road in an alley. You have a nice place. You got a nice haircut. You got your hair did. You got nice sunglasses. They couldn't have been cheap. You make your living stealing candelabras and mantle clocks, and Walter, you seem to make a good living. I don't understand where you got these plastic explosives or why you felt that not messing it up meant you needed to bring a bomb. But Walter, seek help. Find peace. Get a new job. Walter breaks in, or not breaks in, but he sneaks into the mansion and he sets this bomb on a timer. And then brilliantly, he puts this bomb under the seat cushion of the couch. I think he thinks it's hidden. I really feel like the fact that he puts it under the cushion and puts the cushion on top, I feel like he thinks he's actually done something slightly clandestine. It is not hidden, Walter. I hate to break it to you. Everyone can see your bomb. It's right there. Take it away. It's not like someone's going to accidentally sit on it.
Yes! Sit on it!
And now, back to Jem.
Eric drives up in his Rolls Royce. Everybody has Rolls Royces. I guess this is a symbol of prestige or something in the 80s, having a Rolls Royce. My father thought it was everybody having a Mercedes, but apparently it was everybody having a Rolls Royce. He drives up and he's outside the gate, and I thought this was really interesting. Eric goes running up to the gate and he's screaming for the Misfits and he's telling them to get out because there's a bomb. And I'm not kidding you, he legitimately sounds concerned.
The Misfits. Pizzazz! Roxy! Get out! Run! There's a bomb!
Like, it's not like he's like, whatever. He comes up and he's like, get out. There's a bomb. Get out. But his voice, the voice actor has given him some serious passion. It is like telenovela style. He is really concerned. Like, I feel like he genuinely is worried about the girls. I thought that was really interesting because Eric seems like sort of a smarmy music producer kind of agent kind of guy. And he's like, girls, get out. I thought that was kind of cool. So the bomb goes off. Nobody dies. It just sort of explodes. And it blows a hole in the wall. Blows a hole in the side of his mansion. There's a woman who shows up, a countess. I cannot remember this woman's name. She's French. Her name is Countess Les Poissons.
The Countess Danielle de Voisin.
Countess Fish. No? Les Poissons. It's Countess de something. She has three names.
The Countess Danielle de Voisin.
And I don't know why she's there. Maybe she was going to visit Howard, but he doesn't live in the mansion anymore. I guess she doesn't know about it. Or did she follow the press? She also has nothing to do, like the Misfits. She shows up and she's like, Mon Dieu! Anyway, the French Duchess Countess? I don't know. Dowager? Whoever she is.
The Countess Danielle de Voisin.
She shows up and she's like, "Oh, Howard, what happened to your house?" And you don't like my French accent? What happened to le house? Is that better? And he's like, "Oh, it was just a bomb. I don't know." And he introduces her to Jem and the Holograms, and they have this weird, creepy moment where they're all smiling at her. He introduces them by name, and every time he says their name, they smile. He's like, "This is Kimber, and this is Jem, this is Aja," right? I don't know why the animation in this thing is so janked. I swear to God, I think that maybe someone was drunk or high or something when they were working on it. And I know that they were working on it at speed, right? Even like when you're first coming back into the mansion after the explosion and all the press are there's this far shot of the mansion and the driveway and all the people standing around. And when I did like a freeze frame on it, like the police car is drawn like some sort of weird Tonka, like a child drew this thing. And there's like a little Eric, and he doesn't have an arm, and his leg is weird. And there's a little Jem and it is the weirdest. I have to put a picture of this up because it is so bad. And I love how, especially back then, things were just sort of thrown together and they had to be put together so fast. And some of the frames in the animation are off kilter. There's a point later in the episode where Jem's face makeup is coming on and off of her face based on the frames. It's brilliant. I mean, I'm sorry. That stuff is just, when you look back at that stuff, you have to think about how they were putting these things together and doing the old school animation and doing things frame by frame and trying to like keep continuity. And it must have been hell. It must have been absolute hell. He introduces them to Jem and the Holograms, and they all have their creepy smiles. And she's like, "Oh, you're the ones who do this new music." I don't know how people have heard of their music. They only played that Battle of the Bands. Eric Raymond's Battle of the Band, the Shakespeare in the Park thing. Somebody must have recorded it and put it on Napster, and everybody started pirating it. I don't know, but apparently everybody has heard their music before, including the Countess Duchess Dowager. And she's like, "Oh, I would like you to come to my party." Is that better? No, it's not better. So I'll stop doing the French. You know what? I'm going to do whatever accent I want. This is my show. Avec. So she invites them to her party on her yacht. And as she's leaving, Eric is like, "Oh, this is another band, the Misfits." And I love how the Misfits go up to, they're literally like, "Hey, hi." Like they have absolutely no.
Hi. Yeah, howdy.
Yeah. They're kind of like Beavis and Butthead. So he's like, "They're also an upcoming band and they would be a great addition to your party." And she's like, "I don't think so." And basically, again, treats them like trash.
They'd be a great addition to your party.
I very much doubt that. And besides, they are not invited.
And I understand that the Misfits are supposed to be, a little bit on the downside of taste and whatever else, based on like how they dress or something. I don't know exactly what they're supposed to be projecting, but I understand that they're not Jem. They're not Jem and the Holograms, who are all butterflies and light. And the Misfits are, So she doesn't even give them any kind of acknowledgement, really, aside from acknowledging that they're trash. And she's like, "They were not invited. I will not bring them." Look, my version of the Dowager Countess Duchess is basically like, she's like a white, blonde version of Isabella Rossellini. And that's my imitation of Isabella Rossellini. Ask me how old I am.
How old would you guess I am?
Don't try to flatter me.
Don't try to flatter me.
That's the version that I'm giving you. I am 250 years old.
I am 71 years old.
And I said the best part of the whole episode was Isabella. That's what I wrote down. Okay. I wrote Isabella down because, as far as I'm concerned, that's her name. Because when she comes on the screen, I'm like, oh my fuck. It's like Cinderella Isabella. That's
okay.
That woman will be 150 years old, and she will still be kicking ass and just driving me nuts. And I liked it even better that she was an evil woman in this episode. She's like, yes, I will sell my girls. I'm like, sell me, Isabella, sell me!
Jem will be right back after these messages.
Anyway, so the Dowager does not invite the Misfits. She's like, forget it. You're not coming onto my yacht, which we all know they're going to. Come on. But how they get treated sort of hit me, at that moment. Like, she doesn't, Jem is automatically just better than them. And I don't know what merit, where does that come from? How does she look at them and say, you're trash? But Jerica says the same thing about them. You're going to promote this trash. Why are they trash exactly? Is it because Pizzazz has green hair? I don't know. Is it because they're wearing fishnets? I don't get what that thing that designates them as trash, but to everybody that looks at them except for Eric. But he's trash too. And what designates Eric as trash is that his shirt is always hanging open. But anyway, she doesn't invite them onto the yacht. They leave, and they're like, oh my God, we're going to do this party. The party on the yacht is another bonkers kind of situation. As if, the fire, the naked girls, the bomb threat, the tractor, and everything else that's going on is not bonkers. This yacht party is really crazy. They go onto this yacht, and Jem meets Lindsay somebody.
Lindsay Pierce.
Lindsay Johan.
Lindsay Pierce.
Lindsay somebody.
Lindsay Pierce.
Who's the chick that plays the violin? Isn't her name Lindsay?
Lindsay Sterling!
Lindsay somebody. And she's apparently like a music, she has a music show. And she seems famous because Jem is like, oh, Lindsay, we know your show. And Lindsay's like, oh my God, I've been hearing your music or something. I don't know how. And she's like, do you guys have a music video yet? And they're like, no. And I'm thinking, we've just seen 2. Anyway, so she's like, no, we don't have a music video or anything yet. And Lindsay's like, oh, there's this great producer at the party who I can hook you up with. She literally whistles like she's calling a horse or a dog. And this black guy turns around. Okay. And she's like, yo, black dude. I can't whistle very successfully. And he turns around. He's like, hey, I heard my name. I was called. I was summoned. And she's like, he's like this hot producer. He can hook you up with a video. And Jem throws Shayna. Is it Shayna or Aja? Which one is the black one? Aja? Shayna. Which one is it? I can't remember. She shoves Shayna at this black guy. Look, there's something so wrong with her pimping out the one black member of the band to the one black guy at the party. I cannot begin to tell you how gross that was. And the fact that he was whistled over like some sort of hound. Anyway, so he's like, hey, I'm sure we can work something out. So the Misfits are plotting to get on the boat. They're somewhere out in the middle of the ocean in a speedboat because why not? And they're like, we are totally, and the thing is, they're all dressed up. They're like, we are going to go to this party and we're sitting out here on this speedboat getting ready to crash the Argonautica.
The Argonautica! Go Holograms forever!
So Shayna is sitting on the couch with this producer guy, and he's like, do you guys have I think he's asking them if they have an agent or like a music label or anything yet. And she's like, no, we don't have anything like that. And he grabs her face and he's like, I'll work it out, baby, or something creepy, nasty like that. At the same time, Jem and Rio are out looking out at the ocean, having a romantic moment. And out of the blue, Jem is like,
thinking about Jerica? Rio, do you like me?
And I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if she had too much champagne. I don't know what's happening. But she says to Rio, do you like me? And Rio said the same thing that was happening in my mind.
I hardly know you.
I don't even know you. Not you. I don't even know you. Already? I have quoted like 8 things. I know. The editing of this is going to be crazy. But like, he's like, I don't even know you. And you won't even tell me your real name, right? And she's about to tell him while leaning in to kiss him. Look. Jerica starts this. Okay, Jerica starts this with the whole not telling anybody that she's Jem thing. And I still haven't come up with any plausible explanation as to why she wouldn't want to do this. I still haven't figured out why she would want to hide her identity. So she already has set up this weird, dissociative identity disorder thing. Then she initiates this weird, romantic, strange thing with Rio. Do you like me? Bitch, who are you asking for? Like, who are you asking for? A friend? You're asking for yourself? Does he like this version of you? Like, are you contemplating staying like this forever if Rio prefers this? But Rio's already your boyfriend. Why are you asking him if he likes your alternate personality? What in the fucking Sybil is going on? Rio is like, I don't even know you. And it's true, he doesn't. He's interacted with her once when she was on the side of the road, like flagging him down, right? And apparently he just went from being like a handyman to a roadie instantly. Like he took on that job without anybody. It's not like she sat around going, we can be a band and Rio could be our road manager, blah, blah, blah. It just happened. It's like he just took on that role. He doesn't know Jem. They barely had any conversations and she's all up in his grill like, do you like me? And then she's about to kiss him and he's about to kiss her. What the hell? Thank God for the Misfits. So Shayna's about to get it on the couch with some strange guy who probably thinks he's Billy D. Williams.
Hello, what have we here?
Isn't that cheating? Right? Isn't that cheating? They're both cheating on each other. This is so messed up. But she is the one who starts this. She's the one to blame for this whole thing. So the Misfits crash the party. They just show up and they start spraying people with soda water and throwing pies. Because, why not? And we have our third song of the episode, Making Mischief. Now, Making Mischief is one of those songs that I could forgive for being as bad as it is. And I don't really think it's bad, but it's very Misfits, right? And I said this before. I think the Misfits songs get better. Like, we go from Making Mischief and Out of My Way and things like that to things like I'm a Giant, Designing Woman, How Does It Feel, which is probably one of my favorite Misfit songs actually in the whole series. And like the songs just get more they have a more of a maturity to them. They are saying more. I think Designing Woman is one of the deepest right songs just in general for this show, right? It's saying a lot. It's saying a lot about where the Misfits stand, on what kind of women they want to be. And I think it's such a powerful song. I Am a Giant is another powerhouse of a Misfits song that, again, lyrically is saying so much. How Does It Feel it's a brilliant song. And whenever we get to that episode, I'm going to talk so much about that song because I love how that song is composed, how it's produced, the sound of it. Welcome to the Jungle is another one of these powerful Misfits songs that just, again, it's reflecting life from the Misfits perspective, which is going to be obviously very different from Jem. And even as a kid, I thought the Misfits songs were more realistic. They felt deeper and more real. Jem songs were very right, and the Misfits hinted that with the "Who Is She Anyway" lyrics, right? Jem has this view of life that's not realistic, right? So the Misfits songs do change, but they start out as these just, we're better than you, we're causing ruckuses, and they don't really have a lot going for them. They're very repetitive, sort of pushing home, we're assholes, we're trash, we're going to get you, we're going to, throw you into the ground or whatever. And I don't like them as much, but Makin' Mischief sort of is the epitome of those early Misfits songs for me. I think it's a good example of where the Misfits started, Makin' Mischief, and where they ended up is How Do You Feel and I'm a Giant and Designing Woman. I think that those two, those groupings of songs really show you how differently the Misfits, the creators maybe decided to make the Misfits music. And I love that about this. But Makin' Mischief is a song I do enjoy singing and kind of rocking out to because it's really fun. And I love the music. The musicality of it, it's really great. And the sequence in the show is just madness, right? It's nothing but pies and champagne flying. And there's so many great moments of people falling and getting hit in the face and rolling over in agony. And it's just a weird video that is just bonkers. Again, just total chaos.
We're making mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief, and we're really getting in it. Mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief, and we're loving every minute. We've almost gone berserk, doing all this dirty work. We're making mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief, and we're really getting in it. Mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief, and we're loving every minute. We've almost gone berserk, doing all this dirty work. We're making mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief, and we're getting into trouble. Mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief, and we're causing things to bubble. We're pulling it apart, turning it around, and we ain't gonna stop till the whole thing runs aground. We're making mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief. No need to keep it quiet. Mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief, causing things to riot. Mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief. No need to keep it quiet. Mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief, causing things to riot. Mischief, we're making mischief, making mischief. We're really making mischief.
Ellen's voice is so, oh God, she just the essence, right, of the Misfits music is that voice of hers. I love all of her. I love the decisions that she makes with where she's going with notes too. The songs could be sung in any particular kind of way. You got music, if you gave Makin' Mischief to Britta Phillips, you know, it would sound like a completely different thing, right? Ellen's voice is just so unique, and I love where she goes up and where she cracks and where she decides to give a little gravel. I just love the sound of her singing and that craziness. Like, you really get that feel of how crazy Pizzazz is. And whenever she's singing, like, the decisions and the choices that she makes with where she takes notes is something that I just love about all the Misfits songs and all the songs that Pizzazz is singing. That whole sequence is crazy. And there's so much going on in that video. There's people, there's things that are just cracking me up, and I have to put some of them on the screen. But there's one like quick scene where this guy, this in tan or yellow or something, is like falling over the ground. I mean, he looks like he's been shot, and he's just like, ah. Anyway, so the Misfits, again, psycho. They're ruining this boat. They're breaking things. They're throwing things. They're just creating havoc. It's not making mischief, okay? They're actually hurting people and, like, you know, destroying property. This is not mischief. I feel like you need to maybe look. I don't think that word means what you think it means. The Countess, Duchess, Dowager, Isabella Rossellini chick tells the captain to come and get this trash off my boat. And he leaves the deck, and the Misfits run onto the deck. And literally, they just start pushing buttons and turning things on, and just, they don't even know what they're doing. And the boat has jet skis. That was so weird. That doesn't make sense. It rises up on jet skis, y'all. Why? Look, the fact that the yacht has jet skis, I don't even care. I absolutely adore that shit. It rises up on jet skis and starts going full speed ahead, right? Just, I don't know what button. Oh, Jesus, what button did you push? She does something, and the jet skis pop out, and the thing starts going 150 miles an hour on the water towards other boats. And again, we end on this cliffhanger of, oh my God, we're going to kill a bunch of people on boats. I noticed so far that both Jem episodes seem to end on death. This show is a very interesting mix of things so far. We have great music, we have rival bands, and death. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of death and white privilege. Look, if you had told me that Jem and the Holograms was about death and white privilege, I probably wouldn't have believed you until I actually saw it for myself. This episode was really crazy. I feel like so much was going on as far as, you know, there's a bomb threat. Jem is making moves on her alternate personality's boyfriend. Shayna is being paired up for, you know, a racially acceptable couple. There's so much was going on. Random French people, mischief, and a yacht with jet skis. So thank you for tuning in for another Previously on Jem and the Holograms with me. I really, really, really want to thank you guys for all of your enthusiasm on TikTok. It's really been so much fun for me to see that kind of engagement. I don't do things for other people to watch. I mean, it sounds weird because why put it on TikTok or anywhere else, but I make a lot of content just because I think it would be fun to do and to make my tribe mates laugh. And when I was doing Two Black Geeks with Lawrence, it was just something that we did just to do something together, you know, as a project. And I just put it online just in case anybody else would be able to appreciate how we looked at media or television or fashion. And it's sort of the same with this. Like, I know there's probably Jem fans out there, but I don't know where they are or if they exist. And I figured if I was just going to do it for myself for fun, just to have fun with it, then maybe other people might enjoy it as well. So I don't expect people to watch this stuff, and I don't expect people to like it or enjoy it or anything. So it's just been a nice surprise to get any kind of engagement from people on this particular subject. So thank you for your interest and for being Jem fans and for having great senses of humor and enjoying what I'm trying to bring in this rewatch of the show. I hope you guys will continue to enjoy what I'm putting out. I am going to get to work editing this and try to put up at least a couple of clips before the holidays, and then do the rest of the editing later. This is probably going to be a long one to put together, but hopefully I'll do it in the next couple of days and you guys won't have to wait too long. I will see you guys not next week. It's going to take me a week to edit this. A couple weeks from now with episode 3. And we'll just keep on going and work our way through this series. Thanks again, everybody. Did I salute you guys? It's because I'm thinking about the Argonautica on jet skis. See you guys again a few weeks from now. I don't know why I'm like this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.